Anyhow, shall we discuss some music?
Let's go and do that. Yeah.
Indeed. So, right, Zeromancer.
Yeah.
What's great is the fact that you're a Norwegian band playing something that's pretty atypical to the rest of the Norwegians. You know, you're not burning churches and donning corpse paint and black metal and, you know, typical hard rock, power rock. So just to start, why, when Zeromancer started up, did you just, was it the industrial side that you went to with, rather than sort of, you know, go and say a lot of the peers within Norway?
Well, you know, it's there's something that connects all the Norwegian bands, I think, and that's the kind of the cold and the darkness and everything.
Yeah.
And we all come from that, and we have it's a lot about nature in Norway, and that's incorporated in everybody's music, I think. And we have the isolation part because we're not that many people, you know, living in Norway, so we have a lot of space, which has been good to have in the pandemic situation, you know. But we can talk about that later. But when we first started, you know, we started off in 1999, and that was because another, you know, three of us in Zeromancer has been playing in a band called Simon since 1989, and that band broke up in 1999, and we just knew instantly that we were going to continue, and we wanted to do part of the same thing that we were doing at the end of Simon, but we wanted to incorporate more the programming and the kind of industrial side of it, and we wanted to escape Norway, and we went to Los Angeles to form that band, and that's how it all got started. We just wanted to get away from that, get away from all the sadness about the breakup, and wanted to create something new, start a new dream, and we've always had that I don't know, feeling that trying to do something original, but with, you know, it's Zeromancer has always been a lot of edge, but it's always always has the momentum of the melodies,
right?
To it all, you know. It's been important for us, and but it's all about blending the machines, if you would like to say. I like the electronic pop side with the organic side, and that's
right. Yeah,
kind of it's all about that, and it's a difficult path because it takes a lot of effort to blend. I think that's maybe, I mean, it's not the most popular genre in the world, but I think might be because also it just takes a lot of work, because we are really it's so important for us that it's not static music, you know, because with electronic music it tends to be really static, and for us it really has to be alive. And on this album we all the songs are rehearsed well with the band, all 5 members in the rehearsal studio for quite some time, to have that live feeling and record the drums, and then actually not, you know, a lot of bands either program the drums to make them sound really fat and tight, and that's not so difficult. So what we did now was that we played the drums and then we programmed everything after, and then the drums are not really dead tight, you know, and that, so you can't like put it in bars, and so you have to program it manually, and that takes a lot of time. And people asking us why 8 years since the last album? And
it's like your last album, just looking at the notes of it, was Bye Bye Borderline, which is 2013, and you've only you've released, was it just the Terminal Love EP earlier on this year, so it's been a big gap between.
It's a big gap. I'll inform you about that, because it's a lot of things happened in between here. So it's not 8 years of laziness, that's for sure.
No.
So after Bye Bye Borderline, we released a best of album, a double CD with a new song called The Underground, And then you didn't hear of Zeromancer until earlier this year. We've actually released 3 EPs. It's the singles from the album, but with three full remixes, and that's Dandler Mourners and Terminal Love. And in between there, I have a band on my own called Jungblut, which released now, I think, 6 albums, 7 albums. I'm not really sure. So that's more on the melancholy with Norwegian lyrics. A totally different band. I released 2 albums in between and a couple of singles. And with Simon, we recorded what people call the Great Comeback album in 2015, which took a lot of effort. And then we were working on a book coming right after that. And then we've completed a vinyl box with all digipack CDs as well, with all the albums previously unreleased on vinyl, and like a big box. It took 2 years. So it's been a lot of work in between, a lot of touring with all those bands. So no problem.
Cool. That's good. Good you keep him busy. I think that's the thing that people sort of have this idea that, if a band's, they're sort of very sort of blinkered just within the band. They don't think that there's other things going on outside of it. And
very often. And I mean, it's not so, because it's not so weird, because I'm a music lover myself. I started buying vinyl when I was 12, 13 years old. I'm still doing it, and but often you don't really, you're in love with so many bands, but you can't follow all members of the bands, can you?
No, that's true.
I can't. Because at least because it's just too much. So I understand that just the fanatics, they will pay attention, almost like whatever you do, they'll be there. And those are the people that we're here for. Those are the people that keep us alive. And we're just privileged, like I said to you, I'm 50 years old. I'm doing this. It's a dream I had when I was a boy, playing in a big Norwegian band, and being in the underground scene. And that's what
that's brilliant.
Yeah, it's being that in having this alternative outlook on everything. And I think we're just privileged, and especially in this pandemic, and it's been rough for a lot of people, and it's been rough for people doing art that are young, that trying to come through, break through. But for us, we've been playing million shows before. I love going into the studio, being creative, and we needed this time to finish this album. Because we wrote this material for this album back in 2014, 2015.
Wow.
And because and I did all these demos, but then we had a thing with a guitar player, Don. He'd been with us for 15 years. And he quit the band. He was having too much things going on, and and we just we thought, well, let's just see what happens. We don't have the strength to go through this now, because it takes a lot of effort to make an album like this. So we just needed actually a year and a half of isolation. It's perfect. That's what we needed.
It's surprising, actually, speaking to a few other bands that I know, who actually made the most of the lockdowns, as get themselves done. They've been doing it like we're doing now with Zoom, but doing rehearsals over Zoom. And sometimes modern technology, you just want to throw it in the bin, but other times it works perfect.
That's well put.
That's true, isn't it?
It's very true.
Back to the new. So the new album's Orchestra of Knives, and that's been released on the 24th of September.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Now, what formats is that going to be in? I know it's some, for obviously for some people, it's I'm big. I'm like you. I'm big into my vinyl, and
Yeah.
I like to buy albums on vinyl. The thing is, you can have them on vinyl, and it's something beautiful to sit and look at, and you can still stream them and not scratch your vinyl.
Yeah, it's true. But that's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's the thing. The things you really care for,
Yeah.
So but it's gonna be released on CD and on digital in September, and of course there's gonna be more. But the pressing plants these days, a lot of months you have to wait for what comes out of it, and so I can't really say exactly what's going to be, but of course there's going to be more.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm told. Yeah, I'm just I can't say anything more, like, to be honest.
my lips are sealed as well. But no, I mean, it's again, and I noticed that's been a thing with bands, obviously with the backlog with the pressing plants due to. I mean, I just received the other day the new Fear Factory album vinyl. Yet the album's been out sort of, 3-4 months already. It's like it's quite a long time to wait, and I've got another CD album that I'm waiting for coming from the States, and they're still waiting for the CDs to come from the pressing plant. So
it's crazy times. I mean,
particularly for particularly for underground bands as well. And this is the thing, is that I'm not, like yourself, you the idea that you're sort of still within the underground. You're still a big band within the underground. I mean, I'm very much an underground man. There are certain sort of mainstreams, but it's going to be hard at the moment for the underground bands. I mean, this is where people sort of, with the arguments against streaming and it's viable at the moment to help bands get heard, as particularly the underground.
It's true. But and now, I mean, for whatever you do, whatever genre you're in, you're rock related, and if you're rock related, you have to play great concerts. That's what it's all about. I mean, you have to go out and tour, you have to play your ass off, and now you can't do it. So it's just it's hard for people, and it's really rough. So I really hope it will change, and because it's hard giving out an album now without promoting it. We've never done that before. I mean,
how's the situation in Norway regards things like social gatherings and such? We're sort of pretty much opening up over here now, so we've got we've got a gig coming. What's the situation in Norway?
Well, you're actually ahead of us, because it hasn't opened up as much as the UK,
right?
At all, and now there's been more people. What do you say? Not contaminated, but having the COVID. So it's we're uncertain about the fall.
Right.
And we don't have any gigs planned whatsoever. So it's we really don't know. There's people telling me now we booked some shows in December, and it's going to be opened up, but I don't really believe it. And we're not going to play for it. We're not gonna. We've been, of course, contacted for playing for seated audience and stuff like that, but we're not gonna do it. We only play to get the, we want the audience.
You want the full vibe. So in terms of like a few bands, I mean, speaking in particular of a big name Norwegian band, is I watched Emperor earlier on this year, live stream gig. It was weird. It was an Emperor gig with people sat at tables, a very limited people, and it's like, that's not something you would consider doing, just to do a live stream gig or something like that. If
no, we're not that desperate to play. Really, we've what I said earlier about the situation, when now we finally had the time to really go into the rehearsal studio, into the recording studio, and finish up this album. It's been really nice, actually, to have that time, to have that precious time, and to really just focus on the new stuff. Because every time you go in a rehearsal studio, you have to rehearse the old stuff for playing live, and just to go in the studio and not think about that at all, with all 3 bands actually that I'm playing in, it's delightful. So we've been really creative. So there's the people that like these bands that I'm in, they have a lot of things to look forward to actually, because we've been really busy. So so we've concentrated on new stuff instead of doing sit down shows. Yeah.
Very cool. So when we can eventually, we hope to be, I hope to be able to get to a gig and see you when eventually you can, Italy.
We haven't done many shows in England, but the ones we've done, it's been amazing. So we talked about that yesterday, me and Alex, that we missed that so much. We done the gig in Sheffield, we've done some gigs in London, and with Simon we did some shows, but that's a long time ago. We played Paradise Lost, it's ages ago.
Wow.
And when I've never played in Manchester, which is a drag, it's terrible. So
when you're ready, give me a shout and I'll hook you up with something.
I'll keep that in mind. It's very, very, very high on my list, actually.
Yeah. No, that would be good. But so bring things back to the new album. I've got the joys of having 2 screens. I've got the album to the text. We're just looking through like the track names. I mean, you're saying that this, some of it, that's sort of melancholy, and some of the sort of track names suggest that, and yet others. It can be quite ambiguous. Like what exactly are you getting? So is there a lyrical theme throughout the new album, or any sort of concept, or is it just a collection of songs?
No, not really. It's a collection of songs. We always tend to go for what's important for that particular song and really nail that one.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm the lyricist, and I've been doing this for ages. And it's hard to write a really good lyric in a foreign language, I would say.
Yeah.
So I take good pride in it when people give me appraisal for lyrics, and I work hard. They're not long lyrics, but it's important for me when I write them that it stands out, and that they're interesting, and that like people, that if you want to know more, and there's twists and turns in there. So it's not really, you think maybe you understand it, but it's supposed to be interesting. I just want it to be interesting. And catchy.
I get that completely.
I almost every song that I write, I start off with the title, and that gives me the whole picture of the song. And if I'm able to get through a verse and a chorus, it's so much easier to write that song actually musically.
Yeah, I get that completely. That's again, that's with doing my own stuff. I mean, that's the way I sort of work. It's a case of I'll come up with a concept. There may be at the moment the 2 albums one album I've done, one album I'm working on. I started with a concept, and then I've started with song titles.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of messing around and getting sounds.
It's so much fun, making music.
It's quite fun.
It's an addiction. It's something I can't. It just comes to me. It's nothing I can. I've actually tried not doing it. It's because it comes back to, I have chronic migraines, which I've had since I was a kid. Yeah,
me too. Since I was 5 years old. So.
Oh no!
We're kindred spirits.
No, it's scary, man. It's scary. So that's why then you can relate to this title, because the title "Orchestra of Knives" came to me during an attack, and it's the when you're laying there and you have a tinnitus on top of it.
Yeah,
that's the Orchestra of Knives.
Yeah,
that's it for you. Yeah.
I'm going to completely view this album in a totally different light now. Please, no videos with flashing lights.
That's true.
But no, that's an interesting. As to again, preempted a question there. So, what was where does the title come? I mean, that's that's brilliant. Using something like that as the
yeah, there's a lot of inspiration actually comes to me when it's dark, and but I'm a happy guy, I'm a positive person and optimistic, and same with Alex. We've had health issues for many years, but we're fighters. We like to battle, and if we don't get that battle, we don't really perform well what we're doing. So it's all about that, having that spirit. I believe we have that.
Yeah, I can. Again, I'm much the same boat. I can completely sort of empathize with that. It's you've got a case of you can't change what's been done or what's happened, but you can shape your future or shape what's to come. So that's the way to do it. And, no point looking back. You're not got a bloody time machine.
It's true. It's true. There's usually no easy way out. You got to do it yourself.
That's right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So looking at the album, you've released 3 tracks as singles so far, and I take it obviously between now and September, you're not going to be releasing anything else now. You're going to be, this is it. It's a case of 33 singles. Now get the album and sit back, enjoy and such. In terms of listening to it, I mean, I have to admit, I've only actually heard Terminal Love off it at the moment, which is for me, it was quite a deceptive song, because it starts off very sort of light, and then it seems to just get a bit, as it goes along, it gets a bit dark. You're layering things up. And in terms of the sound of it, to me, very much reminded me of something like Mesh, Sulphur, even sort of like the more modern stuff that the god himself, Gary Newman, is doing. It fits in well with that. I mean, I'm sure it's going to appeal to a wider range of people.
Yeah, he came backstage at one show in Camden once, because he liked Zeromancer a lot, Gary Newman. But myself, I'm not so much familiar with either Mesh or Sulphur, actually. So we are very old school. We're very much early 80s when we grew up. It's just it's still there in our hearts, and it's there all along, true to our inspirations. But there's one song in particular that you should pay attention to, because it's Manchester all written all over it, and that's the song Transparency. There's even a very clear reference in there, because we're mentioning the Northern Quarter. So you should check that out.
Oh, brilliant! That's definitely going to go. I mean, that's going to be of much appeal.
Yeah. So it's an album with a lot of programming, but we've used a lot of modular synths, a lot of analog stuff, and I have my old Mini Moog, which I use for a lot of stuff, filtering, and we've been having a lot of fun playing with this album. Having the time to really go deep and have fun with the sounds and making it exciting. So there's so many layers of things going on. So I think I don't think it's a boring album.
I'm looking forward to hearing it as a whole. And from the other albums that I've listened to, there's always that sort of progression and trying something a little bit different. I mean, I remember that when was it ZYXX come out, however you wish to pronounce it. People were like, people were like, oh, what's this? It's like, well, go with it. This isn't AC/DC, churning out the same bloody 3 riffs, for the last 47,000 albums.
Now we like to experiment, and but it's always, like I told you, it's the melody is always present in a Zeromancer song. Either if the song is aggressive or just melancholy or monotonous or whatever, it's always important for us that there is some melody in there, and some lyrics that's really speaks to you. dynamics are important to us. That the song has dynamic. Terminal Song is a good example of that. Starts off with a signature thing, like synthwise, but ends up in a much bigger picture.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that there's a lot of variation on this album. People tell me that this is going back to the roots a little, and might be. I'm not. I never try to judge my own stuff. You know, I'm not the one to do it. I'm not the one to explain what kind of music we do, because it's, you know, it's impossible. Yeah, it's impossible. We just do what we feel, and we do what we feel is right for that particular song. And just again, really happy to make this album in difficult times, and to sit here with the actual piece. It's just yeah, it's always a very rewarding. Yeah, just really content.
Fantastic, great. I mean, I'll definitely be looking at getting a copy of it. I mean, I don't know if PlanetMosh we've got it on our review list yet, but I will double check. And if so, if myself doesn't pick it up, I'm sure one of our other chaps, Brian, who's into a similar vein of music, he'll pick it up. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get a nice review.
Yeah, I will tell Tom about it, and I'll make sure that he will give you some copies.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be good to hear it in full, give it a good review, get it get it out there. Yeah. And certainly we've got a month, just under a month now to sort of get a review out, get people interested in it, because it's
yeah. Like I said, we just want to come back to the UK. That's it's very high on our list. So it's always a pleasure speaking with like you and your fellow radio people and magazine people from the UK. It's always really nice. Really,
that's great. Thank you very much for that. Yeah, I mean, it's a pleasure to speak to you guys as well. And discuss stuff. I mean, like I say, it's at the end of the day, we're all in this together in one way, shape, or form.
Yeah, true. It's very much true.
Yeah, that's it. Every bit's important. But no, I mean, it's brilliant talking to you, Kim. I say, looking very much forward to the album. So just to reiterate, for people that will eventually pick up on this, album is Orchestra of Knives, released on September 24th on CD and download. And the label's Trisol Music.
Trisol, yeah. German label. Really nice label. The nicest guy running it has been giving us so much love and support for many years, and I feel like he's almost our biggest fan. And he said, like, about the Orchestra of Knives, this is the album that always dreamt about releasing as working on the label. And got to mean something,
That's high praise, definitely. And in terms of where will people be able to get the physical copies of the album from? Obviously, downloads. I'm sure you'll be able to get on all the usual Apple Music and all that, iTunes, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. And in terms of the physical, it should be easy to get. I think. Go to your record shop in your city, and at least they can order it if they don't have it in store. Okay. And obviously, your usual sort of Amazon, those sorts of places.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Good. Because people need to know that, because we need them to buy it.
That's true. It's true. All right, I have to go to a new interview, Steve. I see on the time.
Okay, well, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and hope to see you in Manchester. Hopefully not too soon. Cheers, mate. You take care. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.